chair.
Are we going now?
I'm already little.
Well, you know.
Okay.
Uh,
Where are you going, John Paul?
Well, it's,
Sabity.
I don't like this mic as much.
The other voice is Damien Alpazar. 208 Monkeys. It's the Sweat Equity Podcast. Jesus Christ. He's carrying a chair over the table, over the expensive Mevo camera. Yeah, just take it, Damien.
You know what? It's stereotypical that you would think that just because I got locks, I know this song.
Well, you know, you and your reggae band. And I've seen you rap and all that.
I have a reggae band.
Yeah, Law
Yeah,
Smith. Law Smith is currently... I shouldn't play the music so loud. He's over there trying to get his kids to go to sleep.
Don't worry, I peek my head in, wide awake, watching that TV.
Yeah.
How can you put a baby to get with the TV going?
Yeah, I'm a little curious why he brought the kids in, because he really hasn't done anything other than lay on the floor and play on his phone.
That's why he brought him in, so he could use him as an excuse to nap time. Nap time.
He's not napping over there.
No.
So what's going on, fellas? When
What's
Law's
up?
not here to be a talking head, we just gotta wing it.
Oh boy. That means that this is unhinged, unscripted, everything.
Yes.
It is up to you.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, you guys have common interests, professions.
Yeah.
Could talk
Yeah.
video.
Hours.
Yeah.
You know what? I would say then if that's the case, then all videographers are not made alike. All video people are not made alike.
Wow.
Very true.
I gotta
Bringing
make
it.
that statement.
Are you saying
Very
John
true.
Paul's worse than you are?
I would say that his artistic style is completely different than mine, and I would not lend myself to even try to do his stuff.
That's a professional answer right there.
Yeah.
I take that.
Yeah, right? Yeah, man. People just, I think people like to, even in industries that get lumped together, like IT guys and web guys, they just call you web guys. Hey, web guys. You're
Nobody
like,
calls me that.
No one calls you web guys?
No.
No?
But, I mean, I'm so much more. You know.
Oh, so what you're saying you don't hear them call you that. I'm telling you, they call you that.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's very true. That's none of my business what they call me behind
Yeah.
my back.
You know what we
Right.
all are still?
What?
Salesmen. If you're a business owner, you got to be a salesman.
Yeah, you want to
What?
talk about your sales call you were on right before you got up here?
Oh, yeah, I got sales on the mind, I guess. But yeah, no.
Did you
we do.
did you bring it home?
Yeah. Every time, if you're passionate about what you do, then it's easy, kind of. But
Well, it doesn't mean it's going to happen every time.
no,
How did it go? How did the conversation go?
it went good.
That's good. Thanks for all the feedback. Jesus.
When you do these things, you're supposed to actually carry the conversation. Just saying.
No, I told Eric that's his job.
To tell you how the call went that I wasn't on?
I already don't like the way this is going.
Oh my God.
Is that better?
You did not do that.
I thought it would make everybody feel better.
Have one of those?
Yeah, I got all
I
kinds
want
of
one
shit.
of those for life. I want to have one on my phone.
Where's
so I could
Law?
Ric Flair. Woo! That's
Oh.
good. That one I use. I need to use it more actually. But
Just, oh wow! What else
he
you got
dead?
on there? This
Rick-
this episode now becomes about. I want
Okay.
to hear all his sound effects. Now.
yeah, I got to move the computer so you can't see it. You
Oh,
got to
sorry.
focus on the Mevo.
No, Mevo's focusing fine. Look, it's on me right now. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. You can't just leave it on you. It's not all
Relax.
about
You're-
you.
You're fine. You're fine. There we go.
So, is there any? What were you guys talking about with the comic book guy? You were talking about some movie.
Oh yeah, Deadpool.
Damien was watching the new Deadpool trailer.
Yes, which is hilarious. It has Fred Savage in it,
Yeah.
and he's having
Was he in the movie?
No, he was. It's the commercial has Deadpool basically doing the misery to Fred Savage, tying him to a bed, and he's gonna read him a children's bedtime story.
Oh,
just like Princess.
that's why you were chuckling so much. It's
Yeah.
all glee.
There's nothing brings me more glee than seeing Fred Savage tied to a bed.
Well, you guys were talking about how he's been more than one superhero, right? How it
I was
fucks
just
with
saying
your
that
head?
I thought it was weird. Well, no, we were talking about because he was talking about how Disney, bought out,
Fox.
and
I don't think you know.
they were trying to, make something. They were trying to show something. Deadpool was trying to show that they had humor that even could be PG, and they did it brilliantly with the Pixar reference, in the trailer. It's freaking hilarious. So that's what we were talking about, and then,
And then now we're talking about it here, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, the interesting thing about it is, aside from Ryan Reynolds being, I think, a very talented actor and having played different roles in different superhero things, he owns this Deadpool thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And-
he was the perfect guy for it,
right.
I think.
And it was the first R-rated superhero film, which at the time surpassed number 2 to The Passion of the Christ, I believe. So The Passion of the Christ was the first R-rated film to break box office. Deadpool was the next R-rated film to break box office and say, yo, Passion of the Christ, this is a joke from Deadpool 2, Passion of the Christ, Jesus, Deadpool, 1 and 2 in the box office.
Yeah.
Versus each
I love
other.
it. I love that they're doing more R-rated shit because there was the 90s with everything was PG-13, so they get all the money. It's just like, dude, I'm a grown-up. Say the F word.
Right, and not to mention, I mean, some of the material in comic books, if you really look at it, I mean, they get pretty deep and dark and twisted. And I mean, so
Logan, that movie, that was a great movie.
That was
That was
perfect,
one
yeah.
that I told my wife, I was like, I think you would actually like this movie, believe it or not. Like, there's not a lot that a superhero movie that I'd push, but that one, it's a great movie.
right. So they finally took a guy who carries knives for claws in his hands, and they finally like, let's show what would really happen if this guy went ballistic on you.
Yeah, exactly. And they made him much weaker, much more vulnerable, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. He had all that character going for him.
Yeah.
And then we were just saying, like, how Ryan Reynolds, is it really that impressive that he can make a PG movie where he's cutting people's heads off and still making crazy jokes and stuff? No, because it's fucking Ryan Reynolds. Like, it pretty much could do anything right now.
Let him cut
and
his
that
head
pisses
off.
me off. No, I was thinking about the other superhero movies he's been in, like Blade, and he was in a
Blade?
Wolverine. Yeah, he was in Trinity, the third one.
Oh.
But
Blade.
And he could just, I mean, what makes
He was
you
the
think
Green
he could just
Lantern.
hop around? The Green
That
Lantern.
was awful.
Like,
That
what
was
is
horrible.
it? He could just fucking do anything he wants.
Yeah, he's like an appliance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God love him.
Which, if you ever watch Deadpool 2, you'll enjoy the little Green Lantern reference in there. But anyways, the point is that since Disney, now the merger with Fox is in place, they're re-releasing Deadpool 2, but all PG-13, and they reshot a bunch of scenes, and they made it all so that it's now literally targeting that for PG-13 audience, which
Here's $500 million for free.
right, because it's a film that's already done. You do some pickup shots, you do some yeah, I know, right? So unprofessional.
And yours just went off too, fuckface.
Quietly, mine went off quietly. Damn it.
That was actually an important reminder for you. Mine was to pick up my kid.
Oh, well,
Later.
Do
Do it later.
Young whippersnappers.
You know what? What was weird? Remember the dude Chris Evans was the? It was Chris Evans. He was the Human Torch first, and then they were like, "Now you're Captain America." Like,
Yeah.
I can't forget that shit. And then they made it a black guy.
Yeah.
I want answers.
Well, that black guy was Michael B. Jordan, who right now is in Creed and fucking phenomenal boxing movie.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody was trying to shit on it, but then it came out.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Couldn't.
No, it was probably one of my favorite Rocky movies was Creed. I mean,
Really?
yeah. Well, I have
mean, it's
there's
ca-
Rocky 2, Rocky 4. I think is the one with Drago.
I think there was a 3.
Yeah, but I skipped 3. I don't like 3. And then
Yeah, there was like 6 of them.
yeah, and then Rocky Balboa when he came back, I thought that was pretty cool.
So good.
But then Creed, so it's like, yeah, if you take all the 6 or 7 Rockies, Creed would be like in the top 3, top 4.
Wow. John Paul
They're
looks
gonna
like
keep going.
you look like you've been doing boxing training, Slim.
No,
Yeah, no.
no waxing. Heavy
You've lost-
walking.
Yeah, is that it?
Yeah. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah.
Just
Wake
get
up in the
and move.
morning and walk.
You trying to get on the keto tip again?
No, not exact keto, but like, so like 2 years ago I did the keto thing and I lost 40 pounds, gained it back, just because it's not keto's fault at all, but I got the lifestyle right back, and
The ketogenic diet. Keto is not like a guy who lives in his house.
exactly, yeah. But it's
blame
definitely
keto.
taught me a lot when I went through it last year. So, but now I'm just going at it with the mentality of, if you're eating whole foods, organic, or trying to eat organic and just good meats and proteins, you're gonna be keto pretty much 90% of the time, anyways. And for me, like when I fell out of ketosis and I started eating sugar, I really like it. I gained the weight quickly, and then it just was mental for the rest down.
Well, the addiction
But-
comes back.
But now I want my body to be able to know what to do with sugar, and I know it's not sugar's pretty much bad all around, but like I want to be able to eat fruits and stuff still. So, that's kind of, I'm just losing the weight with still incorporating like sugars a little bit.
If
and
you're still moving
exercising.
around, you can eat fruit and stuff, but
Yeah.
you got to be moving, a
For
good
sure.
bit. You definitely got to burn it off.
like I said, I've been heavily walking. It's funny because I started this process like 2.5 months ago almost. And I was like, I'm going to walk for a month, just get my joints and ligaments, everything good. And
You just need to say the rest of your life.
yes, but it was until I listened to David Goggins. I was like, okay, I'm setting a goal. I actually listened to him a few days ago. I'm like, I'm setting a goal next week to tackle a fear of mine, which is
that the guy from
running.
The Shield?
No, it's this guy that is like a motivational speaker. He's gone through all kinds of stuff. He's a Marine or Navy SEAL, and he does like these 120-mile marathons, and he pushes himself through to the limits. But anyways, his whole life motto is basically to torture yourself, but to
Yes.
he's like 90%
Embrace
of
the
his life
shitty.
is suck, but he's like, do what makes you uncomfortable, do what makes you afraid. And right now for me, it's like running. I don't think I did football, I did sports when I was younger, but I never pushed myself to exhaustion like running.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew what my limit was, I don't think. So like I'm gonna push myself. I'm gonna try and just see how far I can run, which scares the shit out of me.
Well, you're one of the few friends I have that will do an ice bath
Yeah.
more often than not. If you're over, I'm like, you want to do this? Yes, you'll do it, and that's important because it's just you got to do stuff you don't want to do.
That's because
there's
my
no
dad's
reward.
a polar bear and a psychopath. My
He's-
dad
no.
he used to talk about taking cold showers
Yes, that's one thing you got right.
20 years ago.
Yeah,
He would end his shower. We'd go to the mountains and he would end the showers because he loved the mountain water.
The only time I only incorporated the cold shower thing was, when I was younger and you
boner
got,
joke coming.
no, actually, when you got muscle soreness.
So
asshole.
that's what I was gonna. Yeah,
Get a boner
Wiener
to go down
muscle.
real
By
quick.
the way, since he called out the boner joke, I had to quickly boomerang into something
come?
else.
Did you come in it?
Yeah.
yeah, we knew
was
what
like,
you were getting at.
I will not be caught in his joke. Quick diversion. What is the other thing that you could have been doing?
I'm in your head. You know it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But, the interesting thing is about when you talked about you went to the keto and then you slipped back. It's one of the things that because we talked about sales earlier. It's like you get into a great sales habit, and then things start going good. Sales are coming in, and then you slip back into stopping that habit. And next thing you know, you're like, "Why are sales going back down?" You're like, "Oh yeah, I kind of got in and out of the habit."
We do tend to have the where we talk about constant reevaluation. I think the last time you were on the podcast, we went there where it's just like you got to take a step back, look at yourself, and actually, if there's numbers to something that you can quantify in some way, get them and know what they are for real. Even if you don't show anybody, and this could be anything. If you want to run 8-minute mile, whatever, it's not hard, but like know what your time was. Are you doing better? Are you pushing yourself a little bit more? Because you're doing it to get that like high of reward from pushing yourself. And if you don't make it shitty, it's not going to be a good reward. You're just kind of, staying on that medium wavelength sort of thing.
Right. I mean, just from a physical standpoint, one time I trained myself to do 100 dips, and the way I did it was
In a row?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, and what
That's
I
good.
yeah, my triceps were beautiful at the time. Not so much now. I'd have to work my way back up to it. But the point is that the way I started off was I just did however many dips I could do. And I think at first I could only do like 4. It was
Yeah.
it was a sad number, And I said, all right, cool. I'm gonna come back to the park tomorrow, and I'm gonna do one more than the one that I did yesterday. And then
Went all the way to park for 5 dips.
well, I was also trying to run and do other stuff
Okay,
too.
good.
You
And-
watch
and-
that.
and-
Oh,
chase-
well, that's enough
and-
for me
and-
today.
and chase butterflies and
Yeah.
and
Bring a
but
picnic lunch.
That I think that listening to people like David Goggins or people that have these grandiose stories of all these things they've done, it's actually almost as a listener detrimental because it minimalizes all the work that went into it. It takes days and days, and like some people can't even fathom or appreciate the amount of work it goes into for these guys to do a 120-mile marathon, or for them, had to prepare for that.
It sets the bar really high when people don't want to hear about any bar. It's like they want to know about their own bar sort of thing.
You
And
got to
it's really
embrace
hard
the
to
suck.
Yeah.
And know that it's going to suck and live for it in a way, but at the end, like what I'm kind of focused in is crossing a bridge and like having a goal, me running. I'm scared of it, but next week I'm going to have crossed that bridge, and now it's not going to be scary anymore. And hopefully, I'm going to have this relief, and it's something that I can't uncross either. And it makes everything else, if I push myself hard, it's going to make everything else seem like wussy stuff.
Yeah. And if you went into it thinking, I got this,
Yeah.
this ain't going to be hard, it's like, well, okay, then you do it, and then who cares?
Yeah.
You already knew that you could do that.
Yeah.
Make it so that
I'm
you
hoping
can't
I
do it.
surprise myself. I hope I can run like 8 miles maybe. Like I can run 2 miles. I can run right now, jogging easy. Could do it. But like pushing myself, I wonder how far I can go. I have no idea.
Okay, so when you're running and you get to 2 miles, what is it that's stopping you from going on?
Time
Boredom.
or just yeah, I don't know. I'm just like I got it done. I did it.
That's the thing. That's where you gotta push through that, because most of the time with running, you get to a certain point and you can just go all day. It doesn't, like, if you get in that groove, like,
I
you
set
can go.
that goal before I leave the house.
Right.
I already have that goal set.
Well,
2 miles.
because there's the wall. Everyone talks about the wall,
Mhm.
the runner's wall, or whatever the case is. And I think for some it's a physical thing, like my legs are just burning, and for others it's the mental thing, like you said, bored, or like how much further am I going to go, whatever the case is. And it's when you get to that wall that most people when they push through it, that's when they go, I got another half mile. I got another half mile, and you know what I mean, and they can keep breaking that wall.
Somebody was talking about legs, and I was listening to him, and it made me realize that because legs will go, your calves are made for locomotion. They're gonna go and go and go and go and go. They're not gonna give out. Like your
No.
muscles in your legs are made to go and go and go. Your brain's gonna give out. So now I'm really focusing on that, just like like what's going on my legs. Oh, it's a little burn. I know what that burn is. Like usually that burn happens to me like in the beginning, and then once I get further down the road, it goes away and I feel good.
Yeah.
But I love focusing on that, being like, dude, your legs are not going to give out.
Yeah.
You
The
know?
only thing, I mean, you can either, if you're pushing yourself, you can, jump off of something fast and then, yoink something that way, or shin splints, and that's your shoes. 99% of the times, if the front of your legs are burning, your calves, when you're running, you need new shoes. Like, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, every time I've had it, it's so simple.
And noticing what pain is, like the burns or the whatever,
Right.
like, instead of a real pain.
Right.
You
Is
know?
it? Are you hurt or are you just uncomfortable?
And when I'm a big pussy, those burns, I thought I was hurt. I was like, damn, my hips, my thighs,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm hurt.
Well, I
Can't
think
run.
even that gets pushed. Like, I think you can even push that burning feeling to where before you thought it was pain, and now it's just like, all right, I know I'm not going to give out now, so I can keep going a little bit more.
In some cases, if you can use it as fuel. It's like, yes, I'm at that burn. All right, I'm here. Let's you know what I mean? So
I
you
go with that every once in a while. Fuck this body. Fuck it. I'm going to fuck it up. Like, just fuck it. Like, let's use this thing. I mean, that's a lot of what I'm doing.
all
you
of a
know?
sudden your brain becomes a passenger, and you're like, you will carry me another 5 miles,
Yeah.
body. I
Yeah.
don't care. Your brain becomes the
Dude,
overlord.
that's how I try to live my life. I try to live my life like I'm a little alien controlling the levers, and let's just play this game, sort of thing.
That's
'Cause,
a good way to look at it.
I mean, you try the shit. It's like drugs and shit. Like people are like, I've never done any drugs. Like, okay, so you haven't tried all the shit that you can do. Like you're just not living your life the way you can do
I'm
it.
trying to get high on feeling good now, kind of. But and I don't want to be corny, but honest, like about pain, no gain. Like, it's funny how great things, good things, only come from pain.
Yeah, it's the contrast.
It's crazy. And like, so we want the least path of resistance most of the time. So I'm not gonna, because you don't want to cause pain, which inevitably will cause growth.
Right.
Which that's corny, but it's true as fuck. And like when you're here, where I'm at, embracing the pain and the suck, it's like, oh yeah, I was way comfortable. I was a little too comfy.
I
You
mean,
know?
just imagine a world without pain.
Yeah.
Like I could go up and stab you, dead. None of your family cares. You don't care. He doesn't care. Nobody cares. It's like, okay, then what is the point of any of this? It's like if there's no
Even that.
no
yeah, you're right.
side effect from this, then like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, physical and mental growth. I've never seen, I don't think there's ever been a case of, aside from you're growing up as your body is intended, but physical and mental growth has never been something that didn't come first with some sort of pain and discomfort, and then some sort of resolution, and then you plateau and you go, okay, cool, now I'm at this level. Now I got to grow again. I got to go through the pain again. So whether it's business or whether it's your personal life or whether it's muscles, you're like you constantly doing a climbing hill with little plateaus in there, and people get comfortable. And sometimes when you get too comfortable, you backslide. That's the problem. That's
Definitely.
worse. There's nothing worse than looking at the hill that you just climbed 6 months ago because you've done this. I've done this. I know I've probably gained and lost probably 100 pounds over maybe 200 pounds over the course of my life. Up 10, down 20, up 5, down 15, up 200. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
we got here. I got where I'm at from. It didn't just happen. It takes work, just like getting healthy is going to take work. But what I'm doing is was the least path of resistance. So it was easy and it didn't seem hard, like doing, getting the exercise in now and doing it the right way. And like I'm doing it the right way. Like we're doing it. I'm trying to just, really just no processed food. Like just no processed food. If it looks like it was made in a factory, you're not eating it, and I'm liking it. And what's crazy is we're talking about all of this and the keto thing, and I just had one of my best friends, his dad, cured himself of diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's in his 60s. He cured himself of diabetes within six months, just eating right, and all this. And I wanted to talk to him, and I hadn't seen him for a long time, and I saw him the other day, and I was like, dude, I know this is a open-ended question, but how'd you do it? And the first thing he said was, well, first, you got to be good with your mind, your body, and your soul. He's like, because if those are off, your body's not going to work right. You're not going to care about what's going in your body if your mind and your soul and you don't have love. He went on about it, but it's so true. Like to be healthy, truly healthy, you need that all around mental stability, even for, emotional and your soul stability. And then you're going to care about your body and, what's going on.
But it sounds like he was saying it as though you got to get all those right before you can get right, sort of thing. But I think you want to stress that physical, getting your body right can make your mind right, sort of thing. Like just looking better, that's a huge deal for a lot of people.
And then he was like, long story short, pretty much keto.
Yeah.
He was like, he was like, I stopped doing all the sugars. And he started talking about sugar and what it does to your cells in your body. And it actually coats your cells because your cells protect themselves from the sugar. And your cells will actually grow a coating around it and not stop growing and regenerating because it's protecting itself from the sugar. Like your sugar is attacking your body.
For the record, John Paul's not a doctor, and I cannot confirm or deny that. But I mean, I'm willing.
But
to
we're
talk
off
about,
the wheels, and Law's not here, so whatever.
Who gives a shit?
We all know sugar's the devil.
Sugar, it's all about inflammation.
If we're going to talk bad about sugar, let's talk bad about sugar.
Hey,
all right?
fuck
it's
yeah.
more addictive than cocaine and heroin.
Hey,
let's go in there.
What's going on in Florida right now with
Love it.
our red tide? I say fuck big sugar. Fuck big sugar. Who gives a fuck about big sugar?
Is that them doing that?
Yeah, they have the big field. Okay, so in Florida we have the red tide problem on our both coasts, east and west coast. It's terrible.
Traveling
and
north.
It's all coming from these farms that are in the middle of the state, and they've got their irrigation or whatever, their runoff running straight into these rivers that go right into the, right into the oceans on both east and west coast. And one of the farms, big ones, is sugarcane. It's big sugar, And I say fuck them. Like,
dude, there's nothing good about it. I mean,
hold on.
Sugar was not a big thing until like 100 years ago, 50 years ago even.
You're right, because we were not able to process it and put
We're
it
not
into so
supposed
many
to
different
process
things.
it.
But, and the fact that the red tide is being affected by sugar, I'm gonna have to do some deep dives on that one because I saw
they're not pouring sugar into the ocean. It's
I'm
because
sitting
This will
here
really
like,
fuck them up.
I'm like, damn, dude, that much runoff. But I understand what you're saying, and it would. I mean, increased glucose is probably an increased food source for plants and algae, so that would make sense. I mean, I could see the correlation between the two.
If I'm wrong, it's two farms. It's like a big cow farm, like stuff.
I think there's a lot of industrial waste that's causing a lot of this stuff. That I don't know. I don't think it's just sugar, but I'm sure it's evolved. I mean, if they're
from
if
what
they're
I saw
growing
from
it,
the news, they charted there's these farms, these agricultural big ag farms in the middle of the state, and it's all the runoff.
Really?
Normally, I do my research and I would be able to cite the TED Talk, but there is a great TED Talk about how the major food corporations, they've got scientists that are sitting there going, okay, how can we make the formula of this Dorito incorporate sugar into this salty treat that makes you want to chase it with a Coke, which also has sugar? And how can we make these foods so that you're basically programmed to just
the salty
addicted?
sweet cycle,
Well, yeah,
man.
just
It's
to make
vicious.
make you so super addicted to the food that you're like, yo, I don't know why, man, but for some reason I'm craving Doritos right now. And then, obviously without being high or anything, but just that craving for a Coke or that craving
It's
for.
engineered to our liking. I thought that I hate saying that because I feel like that's common knowledge, but doesn't everybody know that Doritos and McDonald's, like all that stuff, is created in a lab by like scientists
Yeah.
that know our taste buds and like
Yeah.
they know it's gonna be perfect.
Mhm.
They know it's gonna be. You want more before it even goes in your mouth. When you get that first inhale of, I already want more before I even bit into it.
I mean, and that they taste good. They'll program your brain with whatever they're using to already want it before you have it. And like you said, want more before you even get the first bite, sort of thing.
I mean,
It's crazy.
I'm in packaging, and I'm in videos for marketing and stuff like that, and I'm looking at people's packages, and it's everything from the package, the placement on the shelf, to the smell of it, to the taste of it, to the memory, the sense memory that you get later on when you see the ad. You're like, oh man, I immediately my taste buds know that taste because it was programmed to trigger sense memory.
And then you start salivating.
Next thing you know, you're wanting another bag, and so on and so forth. And it's just one of those things that it's when you start cleaning up your diet, you start doing the keto kind of a deal, you start realizing how much of your intake before was processed and how much of it was like, man, you know what, I really didn't
Old school
cook.
shit. I was raised by a bunch of old school parents that eat processed food and stuff. It's okay.
See, I
It's
was
weird.
different. My parents cooked all the time, so I got into the processed food when I became older because it became more convenient. My parents cooked a lot, so I was way
Dude,
thinner.
it's a huge problem. Like my daughter is in first grade now. Like for her to get water, it's like a pain in the ass. Like she has to like raise her hand to go to the water fountain while she's sitting, and they're handing out juice, chocolate milk, all that shit in the line where you get your food, and water is like this thing that that's all she drinks. So most of the other kids, I'm guessing, are just like, oh, cool, so juice every day. It's like, okay, for real? Like, how is this still happening?
I haven't been in a obviously a school lunch line in a while, but I have to imagine that if it's anything like the lunch line at any corporation that here recently, the sodas are here and all this stuff like that, and you've got two options of water: pay $5 for a bottle of water, or go and get the little fountain water that comes out of the thing.
Yeah,
When you would think
in
that
the poor people's shame cup.
right, and the poor people shame with the little plastic cup.
Yeah,
it's like,
here you
know,
go, loser.
So you think that's like you're not even making it easy in the workplace to just hydrate. You know?
Yeah, I know. I mean, just subsidies and shit like that for sugar. It's like so over the top. It's expensive to eat healthy, to eat like whole foods, I guess you want to call it, like to eat just meat and vegetables.
I think it's getting better though. It's crazy that we were talking about Doritos because, right, that's my bugaboo, and I know that those things are freaking. Those are crack.
Crack.
I didn't know what you meant by bugaboo.
It's like
You're bugging me,
I don't
I'm
know.
bugging you.
It doesn't matter the ranch or the cheddar cheese. I don't care. They're all good. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
it's
are
crack.
good. All
It's
the shit
literally
tastes
crack.
great,
Yeah.
but it tastes great because they know how to fool you.
Isn't it amazing that when you do decide to start a diet, how you could smell a French fry from a mile away all
Oh
of a
yeah,
sudden?
turn into
It's
a
like you get
bloodhound.
into a vulture or something like. They're fresh fries in a
Yeah.
McDonald's 4 miles from here.
Like when you run out of weed.
you can almost
Oh, I smell that
orgasm
shit.
at
down
the
the
end
road.
of the sniff.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, every time I try to okay, I'm gonna start cleaning up my eating act. I feel like that the old Bugs Bunny cartoons where like a pie would reach out and grab me by my nostrils and yank me to it. And I'm like,
Into it.
bastards.
And the
I
pie
can't
eats
stop.
you.
I've always wanted to animate myself doing that one time. I think I'm gonna have to.
I was
like
playing around with Adobe Character Animator recently. Have you ever played with that?
Yes,
Dude,
fun program.
yeah. I mean, I want to get it so that Law and I have puppets that we can just plug the podcast in and have an animated version too. Because it's not that hard once it's all set up, you know?
Is that
'Cause
where you're
it's-
creating the
we'll do our
avatar of yourself and it just talks when
Yeah.
you talk?
Yeah, we'll do our own Big Mouth episodes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Just
Dude, if I
talk
could,
shit, but it's all cartoon. It's us.
that's what I'm saying. I need to learn how to animate, and then I don't need nobody else. I'll be locked in a room for 6 years just making shows and just putting it
Are
out
there going to be
over the internet.
cartoon?
All voices.
Yes,
by.
I'll do all the voices.
Are there going to be cartoon social influencers like with YouTube channels that are just straight up cartoons, but they're
Why not? They had a cartoon band, Gorillas. So
I mean-
why can't they do that?
AI.
yeah.
Did you hear the AI
You know
stand-up
what?
comedy?
There was an episode in Black Mirror kind of about that, where there's the politician episode where there's a cartoon that
Yes,
runs against the
yes,
politician.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of happened a little bit,
Well, that's not the.
but it's funny.
But
Same
I
thing.
mean, dude, like there's artificial intelligence that's gonna come out that's gonna be like, whoa, what is this thing saying? Sort of shit. Like they come up with crazy shit and then they talk to each other and they make their own languages.
Well, I wasn't even thinking about
It'll
that.
blow
I was
your
thinking
mind.
there's somebody behind the avatar, like being the character.
Well, then that's not
Yeah,
amazing.
but here's the thing. Like, for example, if you go to like Autodesk.com and go to their help desk, you can actually ask for, I think her name is Sally or something like that. It starts with an S. And it's an AI computer animated face that talks to you, blinks. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't think I could help you with that. And she like, and I'm looking at this, and my wife saw her and goes, she's like, okay, this woman's talking to my husband, but she looks a little off, and then she gets a little closer. She's like, she's animated? And I'm like, yeah, this is an AI help desk that's chatting back with you, and it's a bot, and it's that far already.
I'm gonna have to play with that.
In
See
in
how
fact,
real this
also,
woman is.
check out Unreal Engine, their facial animation. They have Andy Serkis doing facial animation, and in real time, it's translating over to an alien. So the every deformation of every blink, every like his cheeks, his mouth, his tongue, every bit of his expression is being translated in real time. So imagine you tie in an AI to that,
Yeah.
and it has all the muscle articulations in
Yeah.
the face.
It's like, oh, that shit's real, and then they 3D print that fucker. Ooh.
There you go.
My dad's been saying for years, pretty soon they're not going to have actors.
Hey, you know, you were shitting on your dad earlier. He's really got a lot of good
Oh,
ideas.
he's got
the
the-
cold shower, dude. The cold shower is legit. All right. Everybody should finish their shower cold. Just go as long as you can today.
I can't force myself to do it.
Are you making Thanksgiving?
I can't go from hot to cold because I'm going to take a hot shower. I mean,
No, that's the point. You should. That's when you go from hot to cold. That's what's good. If you start out medium,
What does it do?
the
Does
contrast.
it tighten the skin? Because make you. I know it makes everything
It
else. tighten.
trains your blood vessels to not tighten up when they're exposed to cold. So it serves a purpose in itself, but it's also kind of training for ice baths because that's when you can really turn on the serotonin, epinephrine, norepinephrine, all those things.
Just like they make water heaters for houses, do they make cold?
They do.
Thingies?
They do. They have like things that are specially designed that you can get. I think they only go
Pumps
down
out
to like
ice cold water?
yeah. I think they only
Whoa.
go down to like 60. Maybe they go down.
What? That's nothing.
Well, I mean,
We need 50.
50 is where you need to be if you can get there. But I mean, anything is good, especially in Florida. I feel like people in Florida are getting way better results from an ice bath at 60 degrees because you come out and you're standing in 90 degrees. So it goes back to the contrast thing that we were talking about earlier, where it's like everything's about that contrast. Make that line, that continuous line, bigger, instead of staying in the little middle.
If the legendary Wim Hof method is like so perfect, then why is Wim Hof so funny?
You better
funny
watch
looking?
your fucking mouth.
He doesn't look youthful. Maybe he needs to put his face in that ice.
Well, dude,
I'm just joking. I
He's
fucking
climbing up Everest.
I love Wim Hof. I'm just saying. He looks like an old man.
Go to
though.
breathing.
I know.
Dude.
Maybe he's gonna live to 120 or something crazy. Like I can't wait to see.
I know. Me too.
You'll
I mean,
be
it's
dead.
crazy.
That's the thing is he'll outlive you, and he'll still be like, I still look funny, but I'm still alive.
That is a horrible Wim Hof.
That is a horrible Wim Hof.
Actually, while I'm thinking of it, I'm going to do the second incremental podcast pretty much solely on Wim Hof and the Wim Hof technique.
Awesome.
Method. Wim Hof method.
Do you have to be certified to do that though?
No,
I can get sued.
it's going to be unlicensed. But, I mean, I for real, like, I'll tell anybody how to do all the shit and all that stuff, and it's like, still buy
Start a
give the guy
GoFundMe.
money. Buy his shirts. Like, the guy's legit. He's spreading the love out there. I mean, it's great.
Well, you know, there's always. I mean, I'm pretty certain that he's also got other. I mean, you could teach it as much as you want, but I'm pretty sure coming from the horse's mouth, he's gonna be some details in there, or some little things that you're like, oh yeah.
Oh, there's
forgot that part."
totally something to him being in the room with. Like, that's one person I would mark out to. Be like, oh, you know, like I don't get excited for a lot of people, but
Such a funny
Dutch. I
person.
know it really is, but dude, the guy changed my fucking life for real. Like
Yeah.
he has, like I still breathe every day. It's the first thing I do.
I'm just imagining you meeting him right now,
I know.
crying.
I probably would cry.
So, that's
He'd
really
cry
funny.
too though, because he's cool with it.
You should start a GoFundMe in Tampa, being like, "Hey, send me to the Wim Hof,
Dude, they have things.
certification, and
well-
I'll come back to Tampa and start a Wim Hof place."
The certification thing is like expensive, and you gotta go to the Netherlands, I think. But
Yeah,
they
I'm
have
saying
things.
GoFundMe.
But they have like conventions. in Miami, I think, in December or something, and like it's like $400,
He's
400
just
euros.
slinging the licenses.
No, dude, I honestly feel like being able to go and meet the guy, it would be worth it for me. Like, and I think the people going, they say the same thing. You know?
Wow, that's a good influence.
That's the 2-minute warning.
Oh,
I shortened it, so it's not so long. Not really. We'll have to keep going for 2 minutes, but did you make Thanksgiving keto plans, John Paul?
No, I'm bringing a veggie tray.
So,
which
yeah.
is it. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, and I'm just planning on eating the good stuff, the meats, and that's fine. And I love the meats. I don't need my one bugaboo is mac and cheese because they make like 3 different kinds, and it's amazing. But if I can stay away from mac and cheese, I'm good.
now, yeah, okay. I was just thinking, I was like, he used bugaboo again, and I'm trying to think. Bugaboo means something
He
different.
just makes it up as he goes along.
I love it.
It's a
A
movie. I've
bugaboo
heard
is
that from
supposed
a
to be
movie a long
something you
time ago.
don't like.
It's,
And you
I
said
know what it's
Doritos
from.
are your
It goes- I go-
bugaboo.
It goes, those are my 2 bugaboos.
Yeah, things
it's
you
from
don't.
Austin Powers, I think, when he's like midgets,
Yeah, it doesn't
And
matter.
what else?
The way you used
small
it.
hands.
Okay.
It's midgets and small hands.
I hope we
Okay.
hope we didn't make this bitch. We didn't even talk about the studio setup at all.
No, because we're saving that for when Law's here.
I know. I feel bad that he wasn't here for
This
this.
is a preview. We're like, aren't they going to mention the awesome stuff that's going on behind
know.
them? And we're going to
Well-
say no.
Yes.
I did it. I hung it up. He was no help. at
Label
all.
this as a preview for this grand opening. I'm sure all the pictures will be rearranged differently in the next one.
Yeah, we got to get these paintings out of here. They creep me out.
I like it.
That was even there. All right, well, check us out on sweatequitypod.com. No sponsors today because I forgot. Hit me up at Eric at sweatequitypod.com. We're on all the other shit. Facebook, Instagram. What else? 208 Monkeys.
Yeah, come follow us on Instagram. We're going to start putting episodes of Astro the Monkey on there. It's going to be fun.
Nice. Tampaniacpictures.com.
Yep.
All right, guys. Appreciate it. Hope it was fun.
Yes,
Fun.
sir.
Damien, kill it.
My phone's been in my balls. Okay, you got it. Hit the pot.